Effective hourly rate. That is the number that tells you what you actually earn per clinical hour, not what looks good on the first page of an offer letter. The 2025 National Physician Compensation Data does not publish a physician hourly rate directly. What it shows is median total EM compensation at $397,648. Divide that by a standard community ED schedule of 1,728 clinical hours per year, 12-hour shifts, 12 shifts per month, and your effective hourly comes to roughly $230 per hour. But that number hides enormous variation. The gap often comes down to three things most physicians negotiate poorly: call pay, shift differentials, and nocturnist premiums. Call pay. Most EM physicians assume call obligations are simply part of the job. Sometimes they are, and sometimes they are uncompensated labor embedded in a duties clause. There are three common call structures. First, no formal call. Shifts are shifts. Second, a call pool with hourly callback pay at 1 to 1.5 times your base hourly. Third, call obligation with no additional compensation, written into your duties clause as an expectation. That third structure is where groups extract unpaid labor. The formula: total compensation divided by total annual clinical hours. At an academic schedule of 1,440 hours, effective hourly is $276. At the standard community schedule of 1,728 hours, it is $230. At a heavy clinical load of 1,800 hours, it drops to $221. Now add unpaid call hours to that denominator. If you are working 1,728 scheduled hours plus 150 call hours with no additional pay, your denominator becomes 1,878 hours. At $397,648 in total comp, your effective rate drops to $212 per hour, well below the community schedule median. Shift differentials for nights, weekends, and holidays. These are high-demand, high-burnout hours. In many emergency departments, they are compensated identically to a Tuesday afternoon. That is a negotiation failure. In well-negotiated contracts, night differentials add 10 to 25% to the base hourly. Weekend differentials add 5 to 15%. Holiday premiums can reach 1.5 to 2 times. Take a community ED physician at $230 per hour, working 1,728 annual hours. If 30% of those hours are nights, roughly 518 hours, and a 15% night differential exists, that is $34.50 extra per hour on 518 hours. Approximately $17,870 in additional annual compensation. Add a 10% weekend differential on 346 hours and a 50% holiday premium on 48 hours, and the total differential package exceeds $31,000 annually for the same clinical work. Nocturnist rates typically run 15 to 30% above day shift equivalents. In a community setting where day shift physicians are paid at the $230 effective hourly range, a nocturnist role might command $265 to $300 per hour. When a group or hospital says the base rate is not negotiable, they often mean exactly that, the base rate. Differentials, call pay, and nocturnist premiums are frequently separate budget line items. They can move when the base rate cannot. 3 questions to ask before signing any EM contract with a shift or call component. What is the compensation for hours worked outside my scheduled shifts? What shift differentials exist for nights, weekends, and holidays? What is the current effective hourly differential between nocturnist and day shift physicians in this department? If you cannot calculate your effective hourly rate from the contract, total expected compensation divided by total expected clinical hours including call, you do not have enough information to sign. Run your contract through the ClauseLine Analyzer at clauseline.com/analyzer.